Hello, everyone. Welcome to Credential Up Houston. My name is Margaret Ford Fisher. Our program today focuses on the significance of manufacturing to Houston's economic growth. Joining with us in the conversation today are Dr. Michael Webster, Associate Vice Chancellor of Workforce Development at the Houston Community College, Ms. Dani S. Grant, Workforce Development Chair, PetroChemWorks, and Ms. Carla Thompson, Regional Workforce Development Manager for Turning Industries Group. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your being here. So the work that you do is really critically important in workforce development. Yes. And looking at Houston's economic growth. And so I'd like to talk about the manufacturing component as well as the petrochemical and energy sectors as well. And so I'd like to start with you, Dr. Webster. Just tell us, what is your role as Associate Vice Chancellor of Workforce Development at HCC, your role on the Gulf Coast Workforce Board, and all of what you have done and are doing in order to ensure that we equip the students with the skills necessary to go into the workforce?
My role is to oversee our workforce programs. We have 14 centers of excellence that are workforce related, close to 300 different programs that fall under those centers of excellence. Primarily, they need to be engaged with employers. They need to make sure that their curriculum is matching what the employers need. And really just seeing that innovation is at the forefront of what we do. Specifically around the Houston market, I mean, we have probably the hottest and have had the hottest economic and job market in the nation for the last 10 years. Even when the downturn hit us, Houston was still on top of the rest of the markets. Specifically to manufacturing, we're one of two that saw the most robust job growth this past year. And a lot of that is sourced from our petrochem industry. If you think of refining in the global market, it comes through Houston. So we know that that's the backbone for our economic growth, and everything feeds off of it. I mean, even healthcare is tied to that.
Yes, and practically all industries, for that matter, are tied to it. And so, Ms. Grant, for you as well, in your role, very important role with ECMA that you fill as chair of the board.
I am the Workforce Development Chair for PetroChemWorks, which started off as ECMA. ECMA stands for East Harris County Manufacturers Association. There are approximately 138 sites that are involved in this in the East Harris County area. So what we do is we come together as a group with our owner companies, so on the petrochem side, and then also our contract companies. My role in there is to oversee the subcommittees. We have 5 subcommittees right now, and I act as liaison between the steering committee, the board for ECMA itself, which is comprised of plant managers in that area, and the subcommittees. And we try and coordinate with our partners and the owner companies on what we can do and how we can do it best, and looking at facilitating and getting people into our plants and into our companies for lucrative careers.
Well, that's very exciting, what both of you are doing in order to fuel the workforce. And of course, with Ms. Thompson as well. The work that you do is very impressive. Tell us just a bit about it, please, for our viewing audience.
Okay, thank you. I'm Carla Thompson. I'm a regional manager for Turner Industries Group, and my focus is workforce development. So we focus on our employees first, which is upskilling, helping them with dual credentials, helping them move up to become good quality craftsmen. People that can work productively, safely, with quality are essential for all of our clients where our work is performed. But I also work with colleges, with high schools on helping them form programs, work with their students on helping them find pathways into industry. And I serve as the chair of the training subcommittee, which Dr. Webster is a part of. And we are focusing on building a sustainable workforce here in the Houston region, but also a workforce where the training is the same, where when you say this is a pipe fitter, you know what the standards are for a pipe fitter. We have specific competencies that we're focusing on, and focusing on performance for our
I found that very interesting, and of course very beneficial as well to know that you were looking at the industry standards and those
Yes.
competencies that would be applied irrespective of where the company is located. So I think that is really excellent. Now, as we talk about ECMA or PetroChemWorks, what is the mission of PetroChemWorks?
Our mission, I would say, is to look at the needs of our area and make sure that with the community colleges as our partners, we can train and provide a workforce that is looking at a huge increase in retirement. Without people successfully into our plants, we cannot produce the products that people use every day without knowing where they really come from.
So with the occupational outlook, obviously that's one of the points that you're
Yes.
pointing to, Ms. Grant. So what are we seeing there, Dr. Webster, in terms of that skills gap and how we work collaboratively, community colleges, with PetroChemWorks to recruit students to serve that critical need in the workforce?
Well, I would say that PetroChemWorks came out of a dire need to get workers into our industry in petrochem. And specifically, they need instrumentation techs, they need process operators, they also need skilled trades professionals such as electricians, pipe fitters, welders, millwrights, all of these. And if we don't find them, as Dani said, we're going to find ourselves behind the eight ball trying to get products out. So it's a critical need, and I would say that this industry is probably the most mature at going to attract and retain and bring people into the industry, far beyond some of the other ones, such as healthcare or even retail for that matter. I mean, they definitely are at the forefront of trying to attract people into the industry.
So your company does that, and that's your role, to train the workforce and to go out to the public schools, to the colleges as well, to upskill. So what is the nature of the training that is conducted within Turner Industries with your employees?
We are in firm, I want to say the words, we agree with ECMA that the NCCR curriculum is what we want to use to upskill our workforce. We are using that as a best practice for the region. So we're asking the community colleges to use the NCCR curriculum. Our high schools in the region are using the curriculum. Through the ABCCMEF group, we have over 70 high schools now doing career and technical education training in the schools doing the NCCR curriculum.
And so what is NCCER? Tell us what that acronym stands for.
The National
please.
Center for Construction Education and Research. They're a nonprofit organization. They are worldwide now, and their mission is to provide a safe, productive workforce.
So with the high school students who are able to get that certification, for example,
Yes.
so what does that mean for them?
Well-
They can quickly enter the workforce with that credential, or is it available to high school students?
It is available. It's not a credential. The training is different than the credentialing side.
Okay, good.
So we have a training side to NCCR, and then we have a credentialing side. So the credentialing side is for journeymen. But for our students, getting them to learn the basic safety, to learn how to use power tools properly, hand tools properly. But the other plus is a lot of the colleges now are offering dual enrollments. So these young people can go to school during the day and then go to Houston Community College at night for welding, for pipe fitting, for other courses, and just have that easier pathway to industry.
Yeah, absolutely. So we want to continue this conversation, but we're going to take a break. And when we return, we're going to talk about the skills gap, and is it really real? So please stay with us. We'll be right back.
HCC. So many reasons, so little tuition. Register today at hccs.edu/now.
HCC's online college is officially open. This not only means online classes, but also online degrees and certificates. You can now credential up anytime, anywhere. Join the fast-growing number of students getting their full college education from anywhere they use a laptop. HCC currently offers 32 fully online degrees and will offer 71 next year. You no longer have to find a way or time to get to college. HCC brings college to you.
HCC. So many classes, so little tuition. Register today at hccs.edu/now.
Welcome back to Credential Up Houston. Today we're talking about Houston's occupational outlook in the petrochemical industry as well as in energy. And we're also going to talk about manufacturing very briefly. Joining us during this segment are Dr. Michael Webster, Ms. Dani Grant, Ms. Carla Thompson. And so before we went to break, we made reference to the skills gap and whether or not the skills gap is real. With the number of residents that we have here in Houston, it seems somewhat unlikely that you would not be able to find someone who has the skills to go into the jobs. But obviously, that's the case. So are we looking at the skills? Are we looking at soft skills, hard skills? Are we looking at all of those other things, such as the knowledge that is required? What is it?
It is everything.
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 It is a lack of knowing the opportunities in their backyard. It is a lack of the education that we as parents and as a community in our schools are telling children that they have to be successful with a 4-year degree, but that's not necessarily the truth anymore. Partnering with the community colleges, there are a lot of successful careers with a 2-year degree. So that is a huge shift in what we have been raised and have raised our children on.
And with the earning potential as well,
Yes.
associated with that. That tends to excite a lot of young people when they see how much they can earn by getting a credential in a specific area in the short period of time required to skill
Absolutely.
up. That is impressive. So what are you seeing with respect to those career pathways in particular, and how they can start perhaps what they would consider to be at a lower level and then advance in the jobs? Dr. Webster?
Yeah, I mean, in this industry in particular, there's a huge opportunity. You get in on the entry-level floor, and you can rise pretty quickly into a foreman, into a journeyman. The sky's the limit. That's not the case in every sector. Many sectors, it takes a long time. I mentioned retail earlier. You can get stuck in a space in retail and not advance very quickly. I think it's amazing that a pipe fitter, and Carla, you can probably fact check me on this, but pretty quickly can be up to $100,000 a year with very little, with a lot of effort, but
Yes.
very little time.
Yes.
4 to 5 years, honestly. I mean, at the time it's going to take their friends to come out of school with their bachelor's degrees, they can be earning a very solid salary. I mean, there is a performance time and on the job that's critical when they finish school to become craftsmen, because that's where our skill gap is. Our skill gap is in the craftsman area, not in the entry level area. We getting people to build their skill sets and do the performance required on the job and seeing the different issues, especially in maintenance. Things happen and things have to be fixed, and it takes time to see everything to be a strong craftsman. But 4 to 5 years for most career paths, they're there.
Ms. Grant?
So I wanted to talk just a little on the employer side. So I work for a company called Noltex, and what we do is we try and promote from within. So once you're in our industry, we look at our top performers, and are our operators going to turn into shift supervisors, who then may be an operations manager or become one of our operation day staff. And it's not just with our operations. As a whole, we would prefer to hire from within and promote from within.
And that was one of the questions that I had in mind as well as I was listening to Dr. Webster and Ms. Thompson, is about succession planning. And I was also wondering about the retirement age and whether or not that's something that should be reconsidered as well. When you have skilled individuals who are working but are yet forced out because of the age limit in some instances, then that could, of course, start eliminating that talent pool that is required. So what are your thoughts about that? Any conversations about that within the industry?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, right now, I would say 40% of the people working for us, hello, are at retirement age. You know, so getting these young people and strong, bright people into industry where we can share what we know to help build them for as we leave our industry. But it's always, in any industry, there's always going to be a point that you can't do that job anymore, and especially if you're a craftsman. But here's the thing with us, you don't have to stay as a craftsman. The pathway starts off as a helper, moves into journey level work, moves into supervisory roles, moves out of those jobs that require a lot of hands-on and into more supervision, quality, safety. There are so many places that people can move to, and all of those positions are critical needs as well. Planners, schedulers, project controls. So it's really exciting where people can go once they step in the door.
So with the skills gap, as it is, I presume that there is poaching, as it were, that
Yes.
occurs as well. So
Absolutely.
tell us just a bit about that.
You know, I was at an event a couple weeks ago that the Greater Houston Partnership was putting on for their Upskill Houston initiative, and the presenter there had said 52% of the jobs in our market required more than a high school diploma but less than a 4-year degree. So you figure that half of the job market is vying for this one segment of the population. That's very big, and there's going to definitely be poaching, not only within an industry, but beyond that industry. I won't name any names, but a few years ago, somebody described one sector to me as cannibals, that they would cannibalize off each other for workers, and that's because the demand is so high. There's a huge opportunity, salaries are good, and you know, the flip side of this for employers is they've got to pay more to get the talent.
That's right.
And the better that they can hedge that off, the better they're going to try.
And I presume there are bonuses that go along with that as well.
Absolutely.
Yes.
As again, on the HR side, my day job is a HR manager, and we fight every day to make our employees very happy with their environment, with their benefits, with their retirement options, so that we don't lose them to someone else, because it is a very volatile, especially with our process operators. Once you get them, you want to keep them. You develop them. It's a 2-year development program for us. So it's imperative that we keep those employees, we keep their knowledge in our company, and we get the new employees coming in to upskill and train them.
So, excellent points. What we want to do is to talk about what you mentioned earlier, Ms. Grant, with respect to recruiting and job finding techniques as well, because obviously that's going to be required in order to get more talent into the industries. And so we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back, so please stay with us.
I came here at the manufacturing lab, and it was a class, and I saw the professor and the students that were running these machines right here, and they were cutting metal. Most of it was hands-on, and I was like, wow, this is awesome. This is the way I learn the best. I really enjoy running these machines. At first, we were learning the basics before running it, and the first time we got to cut actually machine, I was super excited. Like, I had a big smile because I was seeing metal running everywhere in the place here, and it was like, it made me more confident, more enthusiastic to keep going, that this is the thing that I want to do for the rest of my life. I won 2 times the ICMA Workforce Scholarship. It helped me a lot because I couldn't afford to buy the materials. But as soon as we received the money, it was like a great help. I came to the HEC job fair, and I met with Baker Hughes, and right away they fell in love with my enthusiasm, my passion about this, that I love it. the way manufacturing works, everything. They hired me as a full-time machinist, and they also work in my school schedule, which I'm really happy because I told them my school is first and then it's a job. I am proud to be working in a manufacturing workforce. Thank you, HCC, for everything.
HCC. So many locations. So little tuition. Register today at hccs.edu/now.
Welcome back to Credential Up Houston. We're talking today about Houston's economic growth and our future. And we have outstanding guests who are with us today who are involved in the industry. And what we want to do is to talk about what we began discussing during the last segment, and that is recruiting new talent into the industry. How do you do that? Let's talk about, for example, your website, which is really outstanding, and other ways that you recruit. Ms. Grant?
So PetroChemWorks.com is an amazing tool that is available for anyone. So this was a project that was developed about 5 years ago. What you can do is you can go in and you can put your interests into this website, you follow the path, and it helps map you to a career. We don't like using jobs. Career is something long-standing, somewhere you're going to dedicate your employment time to. In our career, if you are interested in mechanical aspects of things or mathematics or numbers, it doesn't matter. It helps you in your career path for not just the skilled trades, but our 4-year degree plans that we also need.
That's good. So let's just take a look at the workforce. Largely, the retiring workforce will be the baby boomers. And so we're looking at the millennials who are coming in. So how is the industry preparing for that transition? Ms. Thompson?
Well, the good news is when you come into our industry, you have to start at the bottom and work your way up. So it's perfect for a young person looking to find a strong career. Come in, decide what pathway you're interested in. Then we offer education like Turner Industries. We send our students to Houston Community College, San Jacinto College, Lee College, the CMEF to do more education, to learn more, to grow more. But the big thing about the PetroChemWorks website is that Match Me site not only shows you a career, it shows you what training you need, where to go for the training, and then you click on another space and it shows you where jobs are available.
Excellent.
So it's a great tool for young people looking to enter the industry.
You're right. I went to that website as well. It's very impressive. And so, as I understand it, there are a lot of legacy young people or individuals who are in the workforce in many instances. And there's not been that broad advertising and recruitment, but now there's a need to do that. So the father, the son, the grandson, and so forth, that's the way it's pretty much developed. So the website will make a difference. So with the work that we're doing at the Houston Community College, specifically in your area, very impressive. What is being done in order to outreach? Obviously working on a number of boards and so forth, connecting with business and industry. What are some of the other ways that outreach is being done with the schools and the community?
Well, I think, programmatically, there's an opportunity to really reach into the high schools. Dual credit is obviously a way to do it. We've got a program that we started 2 years ago. This is kind of off point, but Trio Electric with Spring Branch ISD, we started a 2-year dual credit program. They work over the summer in between their junior year, and then they're hired after their senior year when they graduate. We're about to launch a similar one with Merrick Brothers at our Southeast campus. I think anytime you can get those partners lined up that are interested in working with students in a hands-on fashion, whether it's at the high school campus or our campus, we can get the students in that way, because when an educator says, come to me, it's like, okay. But when a business comes in and says, hey, we're going to hire you, provided you do this, and you show up and do all the things you need to do, we're going to hire you and you're going to get paid well, and we're going to put you on a career path. It's a great opportunity for students.
Well, the work that you're doing is so impressive. I know that you just returned from Germany as well.
That's right.
With a number of students who are enrolled in the workforce program. And one of the things that the Roosevelt Institute indicated is that without a robust revival in the manufacturing sector, we can kiss our status as a great economic power goodbye. And so you're working on that, and the students had an opportunity firsthand to travel with you to Hanover. So tell us about how that further excitement occurred within them to pursue that industry.
You know, really it was, if anything, it was confirming of what we have here at HCC. We got to see electronics, drafting. We went to several manufacturing plants, including Volkswagen, Continental Tires. I brought a group of students that were engineering, manufacturing, electrical, and I believe we had some drafting students as well. All of those students were, you know, bug-eyed at every place we went. But we went to college, and, you know, Germany has always been known for their manufacturing and electronics sector. Everything that we saw there, I think HCC's facilities and the instruction that we offer is outstanding in comparison. Not to put anything down on them, because they do a great job, but just in a different fashion. I was pleased to confirm that HCC is doing a great job there.
Well, this is great, and that can be applied across other industries as well. And so what I'd like to find out from you is, in your roles, as we prepare young people for the workforce and the job finding techniques, one of the things that some of them have difficulty with, they don't have a network, and some of them don't have an appropriate resume. Others of them are not familiar with the appropriate way to engage in an interview with a prospective employer. So let's talk briefly about that and how you handle that as well as we draw to a close of our program today. Let's start with you, Ms. Grant.
So I think as a whole, I'm sorry, it's unfortunate that we fail young people right now with the soft skills. It's not something that's taught in their classes in school, in high school or even junior high, and it is one of the most important skills they'll need to be successful in life. To just sit down and have a conversation with someone, to know it's okay to be nervous during an interview. There's a lot of anxiety involved, and if we don't teach them these things at a young age so that it becomes natural for them, it's very hard for them to to do a resume, which is not the easiest thing, and then get your resume into the right person, and how do they do that, or who do they do that with? And then to sit down and talk with that person in the interview and have a successful interview, get that call back.
But here's the good news. Our career and technical education teachers at the high school level and the college levels know we have a gap here with these soft interpersonal skills. And they are reaching out through industry, meeting with us. We're talking, what do we see that needs to be fixed? And they're going back and doing it. I have seen improvement in 5 years in the soft skills area. I mean, we still have more work to do. The great news is our young people are very good with technology, and that's a key.
Yes. So, Dr. Webster, what's the word that you would like to leave with our viewers with respect to the career opportunities available?
Well, you know, I started with the petrochem industry being the backbone of Houston. Go check out PetroChemWorks. There's a bunch of employers that are willing to hire, provided you do what you need to do. Get your training here. Go to the industry.
Yes, and have a successful life.
Exactly.
Well, that sounds wonderful. This has been a great conversation. Excellent information shared, and I thank you all so very, very much. I thank you, Dr. Webster, for arranging the invitation to our guests today. This has just been magnificent. Ms. Grant, Ms. Thompson, thank you all. Excellent program. And we thank you also very much for joining us today. We ask that you will join us next time, but in the meantime, remember to credential up.